Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Love Storyteller Tarot. My name is Jeanette and this is going to be your full moon reading in the archetype of Cancer, the 12th of January 2018. I hope I got the date right. So, but I'm doing this on the 15th of December. I've had some problems with this Mercury retrograde in Sag and technical wise, but not only that, also I don't know about everyone, but you know, there has been some conflict, but out of conflict, you know, there comes healthiness. So it's not about being scared of that. I've had it in my workplace. Sag energy is all about, you know, looking at the truth, speaking your truth, and yeah, sometimes it comes out in maybe the way it's not meant to, but who knows, maybe it is meant to come out that way. And I certainly have been finding my voice in many areas of my life, and you know, and I'm not going to take crap from people, and standing up for myself. So maybe that's the energy that's been about, and yeah, and you've got to channel it in a positive way and maybe say it in a different way than what you normally would. But so the Mercury retrograde should be, well, would have come to an end come the 12th of January, but I post this on the 18th, hopefully, if the internet doesn't go down again, so that some of you will be watching it on the 18th of December. So I still put the Christmassy stuff, and you know, wishing you great family gatherings, family connections, because the chariot is all about that. It's all about the family ties, the Cancerian archetype, but this is going to be in January. And you know, and just try and stay true to yourself when you are with family. Be yourself. Try not to do the codependent thing, because I recognised I was doing that, and it just creeps up on you, and then suddenly it's like, no, hang on a minute. You know, codependency is being scared to say so, or like managing other people's feelings, really, by you know, you learn it as in your childhood. You learn how to manage people out of fear, you know, especially if you come from, as I did, a very chaotic and drama filled life, you know, living with alcoholic and all that sort of thing, and in foster homes. So you learn to manage other people's emotions. So you think, okay, if I say that, I know what the outcome's going to be. So I'm going to be the sweet little girl and or the sweet little boy and say this so that I know what the result will be. And that's a childhood adapted survival technique. And I've been seeing that come up a lot. And I just think of Frozen, the movie Frozen, you know, where she says, you know, hide, conceal, don't reveal. Basically reveal your emotions, reveal who you are. Being shamed, because maybe you were shamed. And then all of that is taken into, you know, your relationships. And you know, at the end of the day, it is about letting go of all of that. And I loved the bit about true love, you know, and that it's the sister's love that saved her, not the romantic Prince Charming save you, or Princess Charming save you, you know. So and it's true, an act of true love does freeze your heart or someone else's heart, but even to yourself, really. So yeah, the Mercury retrograde would have gone through. We'll be in the new year, and let's have a look, see what this full moon wants to say to us. Now, this is all about perseverance. You know, this is about going for your goals, even if it's like a relationship, either your desires, whatever your desires are. This card will be saying around this full moon about being in charge of your life, and it works both ways. You know, you've got to go with the one side, the more negative, and the positive side. So it can be on the more negative that you can be controlling, or somebody else is controlling them, and they won't give you the reins. So it'll work either way, and you've got to be honest with yourself and look at that within yourself. But yeah, this is all about perseverance and ambition and goals and reaching your goal. And for some, it might be that you're torn in two different directions, not knowing which way to go. But others, it will be that, you know, you're standing tall, you're having mastery over your emotions and your thoughts, and you know, you're able to remain on the right path. And that's what number 7 is for me. When I see it, it's saying, you know, you're on the right path. It will mean different for everybody. And number 13 means something to me because of my dog Shelby. So every time I see 13, I know she's about, because she passed over in 2010. So I know she's about, something's coming, you know. And like I said, that excitement. But even so, I meant to read what... I wonder if I can find it. It's on my phone. I meant to read what a friend sent me to do with this super full moon we just had. And she's actually responded. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Right. So she said, Elizabeth Peru says, we're releasing ancient energy ever since the super full moon, which was that one in Sag, I think it was. No, that's the new moon. So it was the Gemini one. So maybe go back to that one and see what was said in that one. We've been worked on by higher soulful forces, which reminds me of the Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon. Yeah, soulful forces. It's as though our brains have been rewired, as have our hearts. An increased heart rate has been common, and definitely I've had those palpitations. Our head and heart, personality and soul are syncing up. The next 24 hours is released on a deep soulful level. Our personal truth has been bubbling up to the surface of our skin, especially around this Sagittarius archetype, ever since Friday, which was last Friday. Hope this helps. So she's just saying, you know, because I felt like things really bubbling up to the surface and having to deal with a lot of things, even to the fact that I thought, you know, was putting off doing this reading for some reason. So why was I saying that? I've lost my track of thought now. What I was saying as to why I need... Oh, about the Sagittarius, wasn't it? The Sag energy. But anyway, yeah, so that's what this archetype will be around, about taking control of your life if you're not, being ambitious, as in, you know, set your goals, be in charge, mastery of your emotions, and really, really look to moving forward. You know, being in the driving seat, really, this is simplicity. Being in the driving seat around this full moon. Let's have a look what the dynamics of the relationships may be playing out around this time. Welcome to my new subscribers, and thank you to my loyal ones and your lovely comments. Let's see what these Shamanic test So this is unconscious. I tend to read these intuitively rather than written in the book. So around this full moon, maybe in a family situation, so it could represent anything. I know I put love on the readings, but it's not always just romantic love. It could be, you know, because this is about removing obstacles, moving forward and removing any obstacles and being successful. So maybe there's going to be a test then around this time, and it's to do with the unconscious. So in our relationships, especially romantic, so whether you're single or you've just met somebody, maybe someone's coming in, that there's going to be a test of some kind, because I mean he stood in a ring of fire here, so there's going to be some risk involved, and you know he's having to go from here up to this one, and he's got an anchor thing to throw on so that it will catch that, so that he's got to climb up. So in some shape or form, and this is unconscious, this is maybe something that you might not be aware of or recognize, but there is some form of test that maybe you're going to be going through around this full moon, and either like a pattern of behavior as to why, so that you can see something, you can recognize something, a pattern that has been strong in your lifetime or pre-lifetime, so it's karmic, it's coming from other lives, but it will be to help you be motivated to get your mojo back, be motivated to take a risk and, you know, get on the right path and charge forward around this time. But let's see, this will give us more of a clue. The healing. Communication. So there's going to be some form of test. I know I was speaking to somebody the other day and they said, oh my goodness, if only I'd have just picked up the phone when this other person was ringing them, instead of being, I don't know, scared or fearful or even a bit of stubbornness, as to, you know, the control thing, wanting to control and have your life a certain way. They said, you know, if only I'd have picked up the phone to this person, and that's going back like 4 years, and talking about being on the right path, you know, just one thing, if they'd have picked up the phone, that could have changed their whole direction over the last 4 years. Who knows? But it was a great opportunity that was being offered to them over the phone, but they decided not to answer the phone because of past stuff and what had happened. So maybe this test, they could have been in a totally different position today to what they are now, but clearly, you know, a lesson or a test that they needed to learn. And Sag is about that. Saturn is about that, because it's about truth. And Saturn is heading out of Sagittarius now, and the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, which is all about truth, like going into the new year. This is what we're going to be starting off the new year with, some form of test, and it's around communication. So what they're saying, if you do what you did, you're going to get the same outcome. But if you change that to be successful and be in charge of your emotions, this is about your emotions and your thoughts, being in charge of that, then you're going to get a different outcome. and it's around communication. So the healing of this test is all about communication, because you've got, you know, literally a telephone receiver from one rock to the other, and you've got two dolphins there, and dolphins are all about healing. They represent the Empress in the tarot card. But you know what's interesting on this picture is that these two people have met halfway. It's like a bridge, and they've met halfway. One's not over there, and the other one's walking over. They've literally met halfway, and you've got your letters. So it doesn't have to be, you know, the phone. It can be a written letter, text message, whatever. But it's suggesting that to heal this, and this shamanic test is going to be around communication. The healing is communicate. You've got to communicate with somebody, because there's a very dark cloud there, and you've got to communicate differently to get a different outcome to what you have been getting. And the gift of grace, or whatever you want to call it, flipped, it's upside down. Freedom, but that one flipped for some reason. Innocence, but yeah, freedom and innocence. Freedom came up, so you literally get freedom. Freedom means that, you know, you're not torn in two directions. That's what freedom is. Freedom is peace of mind. You're not torn in two directions. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? You know, your head and your heart confused and not knowing what to do. It's all about being successful. It's all about confidence. This yellow is the solar plexus. It's that your power center. It's your psychic center, your intuitive center. It's your gut feeling center. And it's about confidence, having confidence, and the gift you get by communicating differently, having the confidence to communicate, or not even differently, to have the courage to communicate for some people. Then you get the gift of freedom, and you get your innocence back. You know, like children, they live in the moment. They live in the moment. They're not thinking about next week, next year, whatever. They live in the moment, and that's all you've got. That's all we've got. Full stop. Is to be in the moment, and that's a beautiful gift to be given the freedom and, you know, grace of innocence, so that, you know, it's that inner child, isn't it? And being free to express yourself and to just be yourself and be connected to spirit. But yeah, that's the gift you get, is freedom by communicating whatever it is you need. You need to be in charge, and do that. Let's have a look, see what the tarot cards would like to say. I don't know if my camera looks a bit wonky, so my apologies. Oh dear. But yeah, that super full moon, oh my goodness, that did something for me. Felt really, really, whew. But I reached out to my loving, supportive friends. Right, so there's going to be options, there's going to be choices. Remember this shamanic test, however you pronounce it, a test of some kind. There's going to be options, there's going to be choices, and you don't, you know, even though the rainbow's there, you might think that's the right path, might not necessarily turn out to be that way, because this card's about competition as well, and you know, having to compete with others, but having the confidence to do that. So that could be, we're talking about love, so that could be to do with a relationship. So for some who don't feel good enough, you know, maybe Prince Charming, Princess Charming, masculine, feminine, it doesn't matter, enters, and maybe it's somebody that you'd really, really like to get to know, but you lack the confidence in that. So it can work either way. And then, you know, you do the old way of communicating, which probably isn't communicating at all, and just burying your head in the sand and not dealing with it. But yeah, it's about choices, it's about options on an emotional level around this full moon, because it's to do with a new perception, a new way of looking at something, because that's what the communication is. It's a new way. We're talking about a new way there. So around an emotional choice that's going to be presented to you is to do with this new beginning. You know, aces are about new beginning. We've got the, I think it's eagle or hawk or whatever, but it just represents the higher self, you know, seeing something differently from a bird's eye point of view, not from the old filtering of the past. But on this set of cards, he does sort of hold his hand out, and it's sort of like a cautioning, like a warning. So there may be, but it's to get it. It's around a new idea, a new concept. Let's say, as a new concept. Beginning to, because I read that message out then on the phone, and it mentions in there, since that super full moon, about a rewiring. You know, the brain can be rewired, and so it's around your thoughts, because this is all about thoughts, inventions, new ideas, a new concept, that sort of thing, around an emotional choice or situation is what they're saying. And swords again, so very much on but the Cancerian is water, it's around, and it's very much about the family and home, and can be mother issues around the Cancerian energy. But this is all about a truce, about laying your sword down, or at least laying down on your sword of truth. So because on this one she's holding it, but she's got it down. She's not in a, you know, defense position, and it's her left, which is about receiving. So she's open to receive something, open to receive a new concept, a new idea around relationships, or a new way to communicate with the past and the hurt of the past. You know, this is all about taking time out and relaxing, meditating on your truth, as to what's right for you. On the other cards, he's led down on top, and the sword's down underneath him or by the side of him. So, you know, to do with the hurt and heartbreak of the three, whether that's been a betrayal of someone betraying you, or you betraying yourself because you didn't trust in your intuition. So, but yeah, so there's something. This is the karma card in here. So I would imagine from that supermoon and Saturn leaving Sag and all of that, there would, well, we're saying the shamanic test. So then the karma card, which is the judgment card in the normal tarot, it's like a rebirth. It's like you're a different person. So maybe you're going to have to go through this test to become this different person, so that you don't keep repeating those same mistakes, because this is about judgment, but you know, about judging oneself and others, you know, but yeah, around this choice. Or maybe that's representing the past, because sometimes it represents the past, so it's already happened, or sometimes it represents energies that are coming in. But it's around this King of Cups, which is, you know, water, very, very much around the Cancerian, but also Scorpio and Pisces. But yeah, he's upright. He's very, very mature man with his feelings, very much in charge of and a good balance of his emotions and his thoughts. Very loving, very kind, very supportive. Now in these readings it can represent masculine or feminine. But you know, a great support. He does come up as, he can come up under the counsellor as well. So whether that's family counselling or one-to-one relationship counselling, he can represent that also. But he is what's at the heart of the matter. And to do with this, so don't get too involved with the star sign. It's the energy, the essence, so he can represent anybody really. But yeah, there's been a judgment on him in the past, or there's been a karmic tie, but there seems to be some sort of rebirth, because there's a new idea. So has he come up with a new idea that will bring a truce, you know, is it a family member? It doesn't have to be romantic. Now we've got the Hangman in reversed here, which is interesting because, you know, that's him upright. He's having to take time out, or anybody to take time out, to pause, not struggle, to think about things, to gain a new perception. So this seems to be the theme, to gain a new perception. And, you know, and to trust you are exactly where you're meant to be, and it's sitting alongside this King of Cups. But in the reverse position, I see, because we've got the Ace here and that's about perception, I see it that, you know, in a way he looks as though he's stood up and he's happy. He's happy, he's got a smile on his face. So it could be that he's found that, hence the truce card there. So he's found that, something karmic, something maybe from the past. Oh, we've got a major arcana again surrounding this King of Cups. So the fates are coming into play, or the universe is coming into play around this situation, because yeah, this is the shadow side, it's called on here. So it is about looking at, you know, this test is going to be around the shadow side or the ego, because this card is all about having a healthy ego, you know. And this can come under narcissists as well, because they're, you know, codependent relationships tends to be people with addictions, and then the narcissist seems to be very much in play in those where it's all about them, and they won't allow other people to have the reins. So that would then be the control in that situation, which then would be, you know, this shadow side, and maybe this shamanic test is around that, to break free, because we've got the freedom, that freedom card here, and it's also karma, so judgment around not judging yourself and making and shaming yourself and blaming yourself for the choices that you have made in the past, I think. because I'm seeing that a lot as well, and it breaks your heart. I know I've done it myself. I probably still do it myself on some days, but they are fewer and far between now. But there are some days you can't help but be the victim, and and beat yourself up for making a choice, and especially when the outcome wasn't what that's when it's either the Mercury retrograde, maybe something started then, and then it's like the carpet's been pulled underneath your feet, and then you're like face down, or a Saturn retrograde, or something's happened, and then the trickster's been about, and it's like, what the hell happened? How did I get here? So maybe it's about not beating yourself up, not judging yourself, because you had to go through this, or you're going to have to be going through this, to rebirth yourself, to become your potential and who you're here to be. But it's around this King of Cups. But yeah, this, to me, I can't help it. He's like been on a journey, and the page is about innocence. It's the page is about innocence. It's about freedom. Something at an early stage. There's not maturity there, but for me, it's like, so this could be the little boy within, you see. So then you could be looking at the fire signs. It could work many, many different ways, but this is like the little boy within, and he could be saying, because he's coming back with a different perception now, this new concept, hi, I'm back, because this person's been on a journey, or could be going on a journey, but I feel it's more somebody's been on a journey. So somebody's coming back, whoever this person represents, they're more mature. After going through this, they've rebirthed into somebody. So whether you're going to be benefiting, because like I said in my book, for those that are single, don't give up, because all the hard work you've done on yourself is the gift you get to give somebody else, which is, you will have a better relationship with the next person. And that's what it is. It's and yeah, you probably helped other masculine or other feminine energies, people, to develop and grow, and somebody else benefits from that. And especially if you're single, that's when it's like, oh, why did I make that choice? But you've got to trust that you will benefit from other people's work that they've done, whether being horrible to somebody or whatever, and then they've grown from it. You will benefit. The universe is not going to send you somebody where you've done work and other people have benefited. They're not going to send you someone where you don't benefit. You will benefit. You will get the enthusiastic. This is about enthusiasm. It's fire. It's hi, I'm here. So whether that's somebody new coming into your life and just showing up, or whether it's somebody that you've known, somebody from the past, who knows. But yeah, you've got the dolphins on here also, which is 2. So we're talking about, they link together, communication. Remember, communication is the key to all healing around this full moon. But someone's saying hi, so you might receive some communication, and you need to be responding differently, a new perception, so it will work either way. Oh, definitely. We've got the Ace of Cups, which is a new beginning in love. So someone's had maybe a light bulb moment. There's a truce, or there will be a truce. He's at the heart of the matter. There will be some form of truce, and this is the outcome card, is the Ace of Cups, is a new beginning in love. Somebody coming back off their journey, and that, and yes, that can be also to do with children. So, but yeah, new beginning in love, new feelings, you know. But that's it. The Cancerian, and there you go. It's water, feelings, and then we get it come up. All three, the water is down this way. So choices maybe that he made, or vice versa, you made. But he is showing up as the mature king. He's upright. And maybe a light bulb moment or a click to do with this new love, new feelings. So even if you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage, whatever, maybe something changes and somebody has a light bulb moment, and they, you know, from this super full moon in Gemini, maybe something happens, and then you go into this new year. Because from that Gemini full moon to this Cancerian full moon, that's a whole cycle. That's something that's being let go of. And maybe it's, like I said, and yeah, it really does feel that super moon has felt like a test. Really, really heavy. And this has all been around on an unconscious level, around this Seven of Swords. This is all about being sneaky, crafty, telling people what you think they want to hear, and deceit, and not always in a negative way. This card can come up for surprise birthday parties, things like that. But it's in reverse, so I'm getting a sense that maybe that energy is going away now. It's you know, it's not as strong because of this, you know, the shadow side and him being upright. Maybe that energy's, it's turned itself on its head, and somebody's having a light bulb moment that they can't keep doing this pattern of behaviour, you know, so they're going to take charge of their lives, or whether that's you or somebody else. But let's see what these cards want to say as the time flies past. Yeah, see, because that's about wisdom and slyness, and, you know, around these emotional choices. So, like I said, what I was saying beforehand about that definitely has been playing their part around an emotional choice and being torn in two different directions. The heart of the matter. Please, Spirit. This King. Oh, right. Well, that's about a trip. That's about a trip. That's about a journey. And remember I said, so maybe for some of you, something to do with overseas. We do have the sea here. Communication, we do have the sea there. We have a lighthouse there as well. So this is a very important trip. So either for you to take, or this person is going to be taken, is on the cards. And in and around the environment, let's take a look what's going on. Oh yeah, definitely. There's a new idea. This is like an invitation, an event or an invitation. More of an event. So a new idea. Seeing things clearly, very much a clarity card. Seeing things clearly from above. To do with an event. Well, the event is a journey, maybe which someone's going overseas or thinking about going overseas, to do with water. Maybe they decide not to go back or something. Somebody's planning something or seeing something. But this is optimistic outcomes, and we are in the outcome line. So this is about gaining peace, and a truce brings blessings and yeah, peace. You know, a sunny outlook, optimistic outcomes. But this was to do, the karma card, the judgment card, was to do with a journey. And someone went on a journey or was coming back from a journey. Again, travel, but maybe not such a long distance like a ship would be, because you're literally on the water. Again, the emotions. So it can be symbolic or it can be a physical thing as well. But that was maybe in the past. Oh yeah, this is the masculine, and you can have, you know, even same-sex couples, you have the stronger masculine in one partner than you do the other. So this is either somebody like the masculine, like I said, having that light bulb moment, and realizing something. Maybe, but that could be in the future. It might not have happened yet. By the time this reading gets around, and then we've got the moon come up, which is the feminine, which is all about receiving, and it's good fortune. So maybe the good fortune is taking a look at this shadow side, and you know, letting the past go, because that's about news, and this is coming up as wisdom, being wise about what emotional choice, if it's coming in, if it's not representing the past for you. Definitely this is maybe abroad. I'm getting a sense of abroad. So this might not speak to many of you, you know, or it might be people that you know, someone you know, but I'm getting a sense, something to do with abroad. And somebody might travel, and they might not, you know, they might stay there. They might decide that's where they want to be. Or this is somebody coming back from a trip. Like I said, it will be different for everybody. Coming back from a trip, coming back from the mountains, coming back from, so that could represent a retreat, because this is very much a spiritual card. But it's with enthusiasm. Somebody's coming back or going to a trip, but there's nervousness. There's a little bit of chatter, there's a little bit of maybe gossip. This is very much about gossip, but maybe somebody's learning not to gossip. Maybe somebody's learning, maybe that's the test. Don't talk about your partner behind their back or something, or about somebody. It's about communicating directly with them, because then otherwise you're filtering other people's opinions into it. So there's a little bit of nervousness about maybe starting a new relationship with the masculine energy. Somebody, possibly with somebody from foreign countries, or foreign, they're in your country but they're foreign to your country, or vice versa. But there's a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of anxiety about whether to start that or not. But there we go, we've got the communication come up. I don't think it's going to be the same manipulation if it's people returning. We'd have gone through that Mercury retrograde, that the truth would have come out, because that's about something coming to light. So for some it might work the other way, but that's how I'm reading it today. I go with how I see it and feel on the day. But yeah, and this can also be contracts, but you've got that flying across, you know, the sea. The sea seems to be coming up, mountains, communication, for those of you maybe who are in long distance relationships or thinking about moving. Let's get some clarity cards on the King of Cups. Please, Spirit. Yeah, it's to do with family, and it is the Cancerian full moon, and something not being settled either financially. So maybe for some, if there's a separation, whether you're, you know, somebody's separated and they're having to deal with the financial side of it, so they're not actually free to be in a relationship yet, because that's only the energy. It's not the Two of Cups that's confirming something that it's worth going on with. You've only got the Ace here. So maybe it's just the idea of this person, or they have the idea or something, because this is about legacy, this is about money, this is about, so in reverse, the money's not there, or it's like probate as well, and wills and pensions. So there's something that's not right, or not in its proper place right yet, to do with that. Maybe that's what the Hangman in reverse is saying. So that could be a timing issue around that, because it's all about, Temperance is all about win-win. That's how I see this card. It's about a win-win situation. So the new concept, there has to be a win-win in this situation. And this is all about balancing, again, your emotions and your thinking, your mental thoughts. For this Three of Wands, this is the Enterprise card. This is visionary, leadership. You know, you've had a vision about something, or he has. This could be him, to do with the trip. There's boats there, there's a boat there. There's something around money and the family on this guy. What's the time? Right, we'll leave it there. Oh, let's just get a few out on him. Let's just get a few clarity cards. Right, the Hierophant. Now this is very much about a teacher or a mentor. So whether that's him, whether that's somebody you need to go to, education, advice, around a work situation, because this basically means work, your craft. So that could be to do with him. They could be two different people. Around the Judgment card again, so judging a situation, or this is about collaborating, a more mature phase and rebirthing, which is going on with him. So whether they're the same person or two different people, I don't know. Let's see what the romance angels want to say. What do we need to know? The most important messages where romance is concerned for this full moon in Cancer, 12th of January 2018. Oh my goodness, can't believe I'm saying that. Woo. Oh, what was I saying? Wow, it's saying reconciliation. Maybe that's the shamanic test. Someone from your past is returning to your life. And I was getting a sense of that. And sometimes it's because there's some healing. Remember the healing. And it's all down to the communication. So something to do with that. What's it say underneath? Flirt, extend your light-hearted energies to others. But, I just feel it's this one. I only want to pull this one for some reason. Yeah. Now that can also represent, because we're talking about the Cancerian, so, and that's very much about family. So that can represent family. Doesn't always have to be in a romantic sense. So, you know, that could come up as a father. if there was any healing that needed doing there. That's what I'm saying. It can be. And I think my very first reading was full moon in Cancer on Christmas Day, which was 2 years ago. So maybe watch that one. There might be, even though it was 2 years ago, there might be something coming back and something you need to know about. And I'm sure it is the 6 of Coins, and it was about generosity and giving and receiving around that sort of energy. So maybe watch that one as well. It will give you more information, but that's what it's saying. Okay, let's, if you want to pause your video, and best you can ask your question, and they will try, because there's so many. Don't stop. So don't stop. Don't stop what you're doing. Just keep on doing it is what they're saying. And this is the motivation card. This is like, keep going. Don't stop. Keep going, because it's an exclamation mark. So maybe, you know, there's been doubt and feeling low. Oh my, you know, what's the point? Sort of thing. Nothing ever changes. That sort of energy. Maybe that's been about, and maybe that's what that test is about. But they're saying don't stop, keep going. But let's just have a look, see what the whole, if I can find it in time. This is not the time to give up. That's what your Chariot card is. Continue to move in the direction of your hopes, dreams or plans. You are on the right path, and that's what I was saying at the beginning. And you should see progress as long as you stay the course. It's very important that you stand your ground and believe in yourself, because that's very much about healthy ego and believing in yourself. And I know sometimes it's hard. I feel like that myself sometimes. It's very important that you stand your ground and believe in yourself. Don't let others intimidate you into quitting, because I've had that also, and I'm not. Just because they don't have your vision, and remember that's where's the 3 gone there? That's about vision and leadership, about temperance, which is about, you know, a win-win, a balance, a softness. Doesn't mean you shouldn't follow your heart. And that's what that's about. Follow your heart. So there we go. Let's just see what the wisdom of the oracle want to say for our spiritual advice for this full moon. Most important message. Oh, chop wood and carry water. That's how I see it anyway. So, you know, it's the saying before enlightenment. So that can be that. Before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. In other words, you know, walk the dog, wash your dishes, pay the bills, that sort of thing. So around this time, for those of you that are in a relationship, you don't really need to maybe be doing anything, because that is in the past, and the shadow work there is in the past. Maybe it's just about, you know, just holding hands, watching a TV program, going for a walk, you know, just you don't have to work at your relationship, maybe, you know, that's what it could be saying. But basically, you know, nothing changes even when you're enlightened. So even if this person has had a light bulb moment, a new conception, you know, this is your mundane everyday stuff. You still have to pick up the socks and do the washing and ironing and cook the dinner and that sort of thing. You know, you can't go into fantasy land, either about someone new if you're in a marriage and things aren't going the way you want it, or, you know, don't get into that headspace. Don't have your head in the cloud. This is reality, and you know, people who are human, they're going to disappoint you. So when that happens, just turn to yourself. But it is about communicating differently is going to get the results that you want, really. What number is it? Let's just see what it does say. As we have a few minutes left. Yeah, it's all about being grounded in everyday experience, humility, you know, grateful. The Oracle's message, there are times when the big dream is meant to lie dormant, okay? So even though they're saying, you know, don't stop, keep going, because this is very much about your dreams. Don't stop, keep going, you know, but it's probably going to have to be in a time period that's right. When the big dreams is meant to lay dormant, because maybe you need to be just in a relationship and with your relationship, not chasing things, so that you can pay attention to simple chores in your life. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner of delighting in the beautiful bloom. Yes, and maybe something that you need to do the work for it to bloom when it is in full blossom. The mundane act of pulling off dead leaves, watering the soil, and then leaving it be to let nature take its course is an important step in manifestation. So that's why it's saying don't stop, keep going, keep doing the things you're doing, but don't be attached to anything. Let nature take its course. Taking your attention away from your goal brings you into a state of receptivity. So that is a goal-orientated card. So maybe they're saying, you know, don't focus on it, and then it brings you into receptivity, which is the deeper purpose of releasing attachment, which is what I was just saying. When you engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, which is the Four of Swords, meditative contemplative way, you clear your energy to receive your aha moment, which is in the future, which is this card, or he does, your aha moments, which brings you ever closer to what you seek. So that is the clue, that's the key. And what do they want to whisper? What do they want to whisper? Oop. To end the reading, whisper of love. Love is all around you. Love is all around you. What's that? Love Actually, the film. There is love everywhere, all the time. Simply acknowledge this as a truth. So I think that's what they're saying. See love, but be grounded in the everyday world, not in the fantasy. Look around you and recognise that love is showing itself to you all the time, everywhere. It may be a smile on a stranger's face, which is what my daughter said yesterday, and I said that sounded like an angel. She said, oh, he just lifted my spirit, an old man. Face, or a simple act of kindness. Remember Frozen, an act of kindness. It may be the warm sun in a blue sky. Life is wonderful. How lucky you are to be loved. So it's just seeing it. It's just seeing it if you're not feeling it. There we go. I hope that helps. You know, follow your heart. And I shall be back for the new moon. I don't know what it's in. I need to get on the internet and check all of that. But this will be posted out on the 18th of December. So I'm still wishing you a Merry Christmas and, you know, or whatever it is for you. Just, you know, peace, happiness, joy, especially on an emotional level. And let's hope, you know, 2018, so 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 is a master's number, but it might reduce to 2, so it might be year 2. But I'll check all that out. But yeah, just be kind, love each other. You know, it does come back to you. Please like, share and subscribe. It's your gift back to me. Sending you lots of love, and you know, this will be a happy new year. So I'm wishing that for you. Yeah, lots of love. Namaste.